Welcome, Eagle fans. Coach, it is week 1
Starting over again
of the postseason. That's right. Yeah. So welcome to the week 1 postseason Eagle Coaches Show on the OCS Sports Network. I'm here with head coach Stephen Fitzhugh, and we're going to take a look back at the Week 10 game against Oak Grove, and then look forward to the playoff run that we have in front of us moving forward. And you know, there's a lot of things that we can talk about. There's a lot of things that can play out when it comes to playoffs. And Coach, I just want to tell you real quick, it's not always, I guess, exciting to talk about a loss, but I appreciate you coming on.
It happens.
It happens. It happens. And I'll tell you this too. If before the season started, if somebody would have said, "Hey, what if the Eagles go 9-1 this year?" I say, "Hey, that'd be a great season."
It is. I mean, and that's the thing. That's what I told the guys after they were still down on Friday. I was like, let me just explain. We've had more state championships than we have undefeated seasons. Mm-hmm. I mean, and you look throughout the state this year, out of 300 and something schools, I think there are 9 or 10 teams that finished 10-0. And so it is hard to do. But, you know, again, we treat it one game at a time. I mean, again, you know, 9-1 is a great record. There's a lot of teams that have gone through OCS that'd love to be in that situation. And, you know, and so – and again, another thing, you never like to lose. You like to learn your lessons through wins and stuff like that. But you learn a lot in a loss and experiencing adversity and things like that. So, again, we look at film every week, whether we win, lose, and evaluate things.
Yeah, so first year in 2A, you know, you move up to 2A this year. New district, you go 6-1 in the district. And, I mean, it seemed like we really kind of had an imbalance within our district with the first half of our district, the teams, you know, some of them didn't make the playoffs, and then you finish, you know, with Mangum, Faraday, and Oak Grove, and of course finish out the season 9-1 and 6-1 in district. And so looking back at the game on Friday, so this was the first time all season that we've been down 2 scores. All season. I think Delhi scored on their first possession, so we were down 6-0 or 7-0 there. But after that, we haven't been down 2 scores, so we kind of ran into a buzzsaw having to respond to that. So the one thing I want to ask, every time that we've won the coin toss this year, we've deferred. Would you go back and do anything different and try to get the ball first?
No, we defer again. Yeah. And you know, and again, is defensively speaking, I mean, you know, it's one of those things. Oak Grove will tell you that's the best game they've played all year.
I believe it.
And I'd be the first to tell you it's the worst game we've played all year. And but again, that's great to have that battle like that week 10. You know, and going back and looking on film at things. You know, again, things uncharacteristic. Defensively, a lot of it after it wasn't as horrific as it seemed. That night, as we looked at film, it came down a lot of times one person not doing their job. You know, whether it's a D lineman or a linebacker on this play or a defensive back on this play. So many times, 9 or 10 guys are doing it right, and it just takes one. You know, defensively, each person has a gap that they're assigned to on our different blitzes and things like that. And that's what it came down to. We actually, I keep a chart defensively of our opponent runs. You know, how many runs do they have of 1 to 3 yards? How many 4 yards to 7 yards? 12 yards plus is what I consider a big play, running play. And, you know, there were 22 plays that Oak Grove had 3 yards or less on a run. Mm-hmm. And that's actually the most that we've had against any team this season. Granted, some of that's because of the running clock against the other teams. But some of the plays that they hit big were some of the plays that we had also stopped. And so it just comes down to every single play, each person has to do their job. And so that's one thing we've got to correct defensively. Offensively, I think we had 3 turnovers, and I don't think we've had 3 all season.
I agree.
And so, again, one of those things you learn from, bounce back, and it's exciting to start a new season. That's, you know, one thing I like about a Thursday game, win or lose, you get to watch the film on Friday and it's done with, and move on and get ready for the next game. And so Again, we'll learn from the things that we experienced the other day, learn from the adversity. And these guys have responded and had a great week this week in practice.
Well, there's a couple things that are kind of that you kind of stick with every week. A lot of it, you've already mentioned it, are big plays. The other thing, turnovers, you also mentioned that. And so Thursday night during the game, momentum, in the broadcast booth, we talked about momentum a lot because, it was something tangible that was in the air. So I was looking, Oak Grove ran 56 plays. On 7 of those plays, they had 7 plays for over 20 yards, and that accounted for more than half of their yardage.
I can get more specific. They had 5 plays of over 40 yards.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And so, and it is. It's about don't give up the big play. Mm-hmm. That's what we try to preach defensively is be sound, but number one above all things, don't give up the big play. And they did. They had 5 plays of over 40 yards.
Yeah, so that's big. It's not just big, with the yardage and the points on the board, but also with the momentum, in the stadium. And then, of course, the turnovers. You mentioned, we had 3 turnovers, and it seemed like, you have turnovers, and those things happen. And sometimes you can get by without allowing points or things like that. Didn't happen the other night, but, again, it goes back to the momentum because – we had an interception before halftime. We had the fumble, the strip sack. So those were the 3 turnovers. But it just seemed like they were just really at inopportune times. When those things happened, it would just kind of suck the air out of the team. So, I think momentum played a huge part in that game the other night.
There's no doubt. I mean, and again, turnover war is the biggest statistical thing of anything because it keeps you from scoring and, again, gives them the opportunity to capitalize. And our goal is to be +2, that we have 2 more takeaways than what we give up. And, keeping stats for the last 25 years on that defensive statistic and offensive statistic, the times that we are +2, that we have 2 more takeaways than what we give up, I think in the last 25 years there's been 3 games that we have not won when we're +2. And so, again, that's the biggest stat of everything is win the turnover war. And, again, another thing on top of that, I believe, is eliminate the big play. You go back to ball games and, again, we go Southern Lab last year. Mm-hmm. They completed only 5 passes out of 20 in the game. But 4 of those passes went for 40 yards or more. And so, again, it's about eliminate the big play, make them play another play, and stuff like that. So, again, those are all things that affect as you talk about the momentum because you can feel that energy surge and stuff like that. So that's where we have been very good, I think, all year long is taking care of the football, eliminating the big play, and then when we have created turnovers, our offense has capitalized on those. And, we did not create any turnovers by Oak Grove the other night. And so, again, that's the big factor in your tight ball games.
So, you mentioned this is the best Oak Grove has played all year, and I agree with you. You look through their scores and things like that, and even there's a lot of players that played this past Thursday that we've seen for 3 years. But, for instance, Jackson Bradley, he has not played a game like that against us at all. He looked like a different player. And, in the second half, the running back, Jay Freeman, kind of got going. I think a lot of that did have to do with the momentum. I think a lot of it did have to do with the number of plays. Like you said, we didn't have a running clock for the first time all season. We didn't get one against Faraday. But did we? I don't think we did. No, the number of plays, but so it was frustrating at times, and I could see the frustration on the players, some emotional frustration. Is that something that you guys looked at on film and talked about?
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about again, that's the first time we've had adversity all year, and so how do you handle that adversity during the game? Your body language, things like that, just. In my philosophy, as long as there's time on the clock, there's always a chance. You keep fighting, keep plugging, and try to make good things happen. And so, again, I feel like our guys have bounced back, had a great week of practice, and again, excited about a new season. You learn from the past. Again, Oak Grove has an outstanding team, and it was exciting to play them week 10 for the district championship. And so, again, that was their night, and hats off to them. And you know what? We're going to learn from the things and, pull our boots back up and let's get going.
Yeah, we got a whole new season in front of us, and so I'm with you, Coach. Let's turn the page. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break because I think everybody saw the game. Everybody saw how it turned out. Week 10, finished the season 9-1. Again, great season. Tough loss for the guys, tough loss for for the coaches and the fans. But like you said, if you can analyze it and use it for good, we're going into the playoffs. Learn from it, and let your guys. You said it. If you said it once, you said it 1,000 times. You get better. Mm-hmm. You got to get better, even in a difficult loss like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, get a word from our sponsor, McDonald's, who has partnered with us for this coaches show. We'll come back. We'll talk to some of our seniors, 2 of our managers. We're going to have our managers on this week.
They do a phenomenal job. It would not happen without those guys. I know you're going to visit with them, but it is a heart of a servant, and there is so much that goes on behind the scenes day to day. I mean, these guys come up here on their days out of school as well and serve the team when they could be sleeping in or doing something else. And so just real proud of Drew and Casey and what they've meant to our program. Just so proud of them.
Yeah, and I get to sit with them at practice when I come out and watch practice sometime and see all the variety of things that they do, whether it's fixing equipment, getting kind of some first aid type stuff for the guys, or piloting a drone, whatever they got to do. And like you said, it is an act of service. And so I look forward to talking to those guys, and then you and I will come back and we'll talk about the upcoming matchup against Glenbrook. So stay tuned.
There are 2 Big Mac burgers now? Never had a Big Mac.
If you're gonna try your first Big Mac, you gotta go with the original. Can't go wrong with the classics, right?
Nah. If you're gonna try something new, go with the new Chicken Big Mac. It's got special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, and 2 chicken patties
on a sesame seed bun.
Stop saying everything I'm saying. I'm not. Yes, you are. No, you are. No, you are.
So what will it be? The Big Mac or the Chicken Big Mac?
Yes.
The Chicken Big Mac. It's not a Big Mac. Get it while you can.
Welcome back to the OCS Coaches Show on the Eagle Sports Network, and I'm here with 2 key senior members of our 2024 football team. I've got Case and Gerald and Drew Canterbury. Both of them are number MGR.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Number MGR. Yeah.
Number MGR. These are our 2 managers, and, guys, a lot of times, I actually get to spend a lot of time with you guys. I go out and watch practice from time to time, and they won't let me practice with them. So I'll stand over there with you guys on the sidelines, and I think y'all are doing a great job. A lot of times it's overlooked. I know that the coaches appreciate you and the players appreciate you, but the fans don't always get to see what you guys do. But before we get into that, how'd you become a manager? I'll start with you, Casey. How'd you become a manager?
So I played throughout middle school, and it really wasn't my thing. And going into freshman year, I really I knew I was going to quit after. I was a lineman, and I didn't have the passion for playing like people like Jackson or Bo did. And I just kind of felt burnt out after practice. But I really liked being on the team. I liked the away games and the Thursday practices. And that was really special to me. And so after I quit, I would go watch the games. It just wasn't the same. I felt like I was missing out on something that I'd been a part of for years. And so going into junior year, or the end of sophomore year, my buddy Drew, he would be out there managing, and he said it was a great time. And he said, it's just like being on the team, but you don't have to put in the work. You still have to do some stuff, but it's not, exhausting. And so I talked to Coach Fitzhugh about it, and he was more than excited to let me manage.
So do y'all have to run hundreds?
We don't have to.
Okay.
We do sometimes.
You do?
Yeah, from time to time.
Yeah. All right. Well, what about you, Drew? How'd it come about, you being a manager?
Well, my oldest brother, or my middle brother, really, he was a manager in around 2014 through 16. And so I always had it on the back of my head. It sounded interesting. And freshman year, I was actually signed up to play. And one day I was running the track, and Miss Kim was out there and said, we have Noah, and he's the only one there. And my brother did, and she asked if I thought about doing it. I was like, sure. And so that next day I started, and from there kind of learned what to do, and it's been a great time.
Yeah. So you were a manager with Noah.
I was
his last year. So you've been there. You've been doing it for 4 years.
I have.
And you've been doing it for 2 years.
Yes.
All right. Very cool. So, you talk about being part of a team, and if we win a state championship, you'll get that. You'll get the district T-shirts. You get all those things. But day to day, not many people know what happens with the manager. I'll start with Drew this time, okay? Because I know that y'all don't do the same thing as each other every single day. So, Drew, what are your responsibilities mainly consist of on a practice day?
Make sure that everyone's there and go through the locker room. It's anything needs to be fixed, helmets, pads. I'll fix that. Make sure Kaysen's doing water with Jackson Murray, our new manager. And just get hats, fly the drone sometimes. That's about pretty much what I do.
Yeah, so I've seen you out there fly that drone, and it's I look at the film, and it's pretty cool to see the drone footage. And I know that you're our pilot on duty. So, Kaysen, what do you do on practice days?
I mean, I just whatever Drew's not doing, I'll do. We kind of like fill in for each other. I mean, I mostly just do water, and then I'll sit outside, wait for the coaches to tell me to do something.
Yeah, hey.
I mean,
That's
there's not
needed.
too much that goes on during practice besides that.
As long as you get all the water prepared and everything else.
Throw the football.
Throw the football during practice. All right, game days, right? A little bit different. All right, Kaysen, I'll start with you. On game days, y'all don't leave school for home games. You travel with the team. So let's talk about leading up to the game or getting the bus or trailer loaded. What do you have to do on those days?
I mean, you said to load the bus or the trailer. I mean, so we just load everything up.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not
y'all
too
don't
much
check to
it.
make sure everybody has everything.
Miss Kim has this paper we double check.
Triple check it.
So that's what you do too.
Pretty much. Day before on Thursdays, we'll get everything out in the hallway and then double check our paper. And then when it gets on the trailer, hope we didn't leave anything.
Okay. What about during the games? What happens during the game?
A lot. We have to deal with headsets, waters. We have to deal with people that need tape. Sometimes there'll be injuries that, we have to get them ice.
Okay.
Those headsets are trouble.
Oh, yeah.
really
Those
are.
batteries die so much.
No, so y'all are running headsets up to the booth and batteries up to the booth to get all that taken care of. Very cool. Okay, so it does take up a lot of time. Y'all are committed. If you're a manager here at OCS, you're committed to the team. But I know you guys have other things going on in your life, even after football season. So what are you going to do? What do you like to do outside of being a manager of the football team, taking care of our boys?
I'll go. I like working on cars, driving. I'm super mechanical, anything like that. Hang out with my friends, go to the movies, throw a football.
Tennis?
I do play tennis too.
Okay.
Big sport.
Yeah, so tennis and manager, any other sports that you play?
I used to play basketball, but not this year.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, outside of my favorite hobby, filling waters, I like to hang out with my friends. I'll play the game. I like to draw, but other than that, it's just school and football.
Yeah. All right. So you're seniors this year, okay? Kind of a big transition year of your life. You go through your senior year. A lot of people's favorite year of high school, of course. Maybe, I don't know. But let's talk about plans for next year. What are you going to do after you graduate? And I'll start with Drew this time.
I plan to go to Ole Miss or LSU, and I don't know what I'm going to major in. I'm just kind of bouncing around the place from pre-med to finance to engineering.
Okay.
Any of those three, and I'm actually thinking about being an equipment manager.
So that's what I was going to ask. I mean, you can get scholarships, to universities and schools for being an equipment manager. So that's something you're looking into?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Be on the sidelines over there with Lane Kiffin, maybe?
Be pretty cool.
What about you, Kaysen? What's going on next year?
I mean, we're still in the planning phase, but I'm probably going to go to tech. I don't know what I'm going to major in. I'm probably going to get an engineering degree, and that's about all we know.
All right. Well, look, I do want to say thank you guys, one, for coming on our coaches show. And I've been around the sport enough to know the importance of what you guys do. And so I want to say thank you for that, also for helping take care of our team. Football's a big deal here, so I'm grateful, and, I get to watch. I know it's being a manager in a way is an act of service, right? And, and so you're kind of sacrificing your free time and, all that stuff so that you can help some other people. And, I actually got the chance with Kaysen to go to Honduras this year, so serve some people down there. And so, again, I want to thank you guys for your acts of service here at the school and outside of school, too. I want to wish you the best. I hope that y'all do well next year. And, hey, and I hope we got 4 more games left this year. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And we finish out in New Orleans. So thank you again for coming on. We'll be back in just a minute with head coach Stephen Fitzhugh to talk about the upcoming game against the Glenbrook Apaches in round 1 of the 2024 LHSAA state playoffs. So stay tuned.
There are 2 Big Mac burgers now? Never had a Big Mac.
If you're gonna try your first Big Mac, you gotta go with the original. Can't go wrong with the classics, right?
Nah. If you're gonna try something new, go with the new Chicken Big Mac. It's got special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, and 2 chicken patties
on a sesame seed bun.
Stop saying everything I'm saying. I'm not. Yes, you are. No, you are. No, you are.
So what will it be? The Big Mac or the Chicken Big Mac?
Yes.
The Chicken Big Mac. It's not a Big Mac. Get it while you can.
Welcome back, Eagle fans, to the OCS Coaches Show. Week 1, going into the playoffs, Coach, and had a chance to talk with Kaysen and Drew. Really enjoyed spending time with those guys. Love their attitude when it comes to taking care of the team and the equipment and all those things that they do. So
they're great guys, servants that everybody notices the touchdown guys on the field and the guys that make tackles or interceptions or whatever. But we would not make it without Kaysen and Drew. Those guys. They make things happen. They allow us as coaches to coach, and that's something that, again, is a blessing to have those guys serve, and they come every day with a great attitude, and so appreciative of them.
Yeah, going to be tough to replace after this season, but before we look forward to the season being over, Coach, we've got a playoff run. And our first game, we're going to host the Glenbrook Apaches. Historically, we've only had 1 game against those guys,
and it was a battle.
It was a fantastic game. I remember Landon Graves like a 90-yard run, and it looks like around the 20 he runs out of gas, and then he finds some type of gear that I don't even know, didn't even know existed, and finishes it off. I mean, it was just a fantastic game, and we go on and beat them and move on in the playoffs. Hoping we do the same thing this week. Coach, only our second matchup ever against them, but this is a different Glenbrook team, different coach. I don't know if the play style is going to be different. What can we look for?
They have an outstanding team. I mean, they're going to do what they do offensively, defensively, and stay with their scheme. Not going to get real complex, but they do a great job of here's what we're doing, stop us. And there's a lot of teams out there that a coach will get these ideas and may see something on Saturday and say, oh, well, let's put this in. But Glenbrook is well coached. They are, again, there's no secret. This is what we're going to do, and they come out and they execute it well. Their offensive line does a great job. Led by Davari Jackson, who he was a sophomore that year, 2 years ago when we played him, and he's the guy that leads the charge up front offensively and defensively for them. But just a very sound football team scheme-wise, and the quarterback does a great job. Easton Sanders is his name, and he's a Louisiana Tech baseball commit, MVP of that district over there in baseball, and does a great job at quarterback of throwing the football and just leading their team. So they got an outstanding football team. Another one that they'll get the ball into his hands a lot is Jackson Waller, number 2. He's an offensive, defensive player that starts both ways, does great things in the secondary, as does their running back Seth Mangrum. And again, those guys just execute really, really well on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, so we come into the postseason, number 11 in the power ratings. Glenbrook's number 22. And I don't want to get too deep, mess with the power ratings too much, but 9-1, and we're sitting at number 11. I think a lot of it has to do with strength of schedule, but we'll host this game, and it looks like it could be the only game, the only home game that we can play in the playoffs.
Well, it's only guaranteed. I was going to say it's the only guaranteed game we have right now. So we take things. I know everybody. On the outside, they look at the brackets and go, oh, this, and we got one game right now. That's all we're guaranteed, and we've got to go out and play our best game this Friday night in order to have the opportunity to play another game.
Yeah, and so I do want to ask you about practice this week, and Oak Grove was last Thursday. You get an extra day of practice before this game. What's practice been like this week?
It's been great. We after playing on Thursday last week, we come in and we get to watch film on Friday, learn from it, bury it, and move on. And so playoff brackets come out on Sunday and matched up with Glenbrook, and we started working on them that afternoon. And again, our guys, we've had a great week of practice, and it again comes down to the fundamentals of the game. Take care of the football, catch the football, be great tacklers, and so our goals get better each day, each week.
Yeah. So I was looking at the bracket, and Glenbrook's at number 22. We've got St. Fred's that are in number 4. I couldn't remember if it was 4 or 6, but they're number 4. But other than that, there's not a lot of teams in North Louisiana that are in our select Division 4 playoff bracket. And so, being that, hopefully we'll show up on Friday, we'll win the game, then we'll everybody will get their tires checked and their oil changed, because I'm hoping for a long run in the playoffs. And so, as far as health goes, I'm just going to ask you about health. Are we good to go health wise?
Yeah, everybody's good. Macon, John, they played with the cast on their arms, but both did a great job, and so everybody's healthy, ready to go.
Yep. All right. Well, you heard it here, Eagle fans. We had a chance to talk with our managers, had a chance to talk with Coach Fitzhugh. Looking forward to the playoff run, and I know that a lot of you guys are going to join us on this playoff run, and we'll do Coach's show as long as these playoffs go, and hopefully it'll last all the way to New Orleans. We do, look. I'm not looking ahead per se.
That's always the goal, though.
Yes, that is always the goal. I'm not looking ahead, but again, we got
take it one step at a time.
You do one step at a time, and then take about 3 long road trips in a row, and try to get to New Orleans that way. If we win this game, it looks like we'll travel down to New Roads, Louisiana next week, and take on Catholic Point Capay, the Hornets. I've never been to New Roads, so hopefully I'll make my first visit there next week. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Coach, I want to thank you again for coming on and talking about what's going on with your football team. Wish you the best of luck. Wish the guys the best of luck, and look forward to this playoff run in the 2024 season. So hopefully we'll be back next week. Again, thanks for tuning in. Also, thanks to McDonald's for partnering with us on our weekly coaches show.